Habit number 12, fasting. For a comprehensive research-based guide on fasting and intermittent fasting, visit my website and click on the Health section. There's also the Body Hacker Basics Masterclass, which has an entire chapter on diet and includes a discussion on fasting. Fasting is a great tool for spiritual growth, but it must be done carefully and with certain considerations. Fasting is a timeless habit for building appreciation in life, and it's as old as it gets. There is no quicker way to appreciating what you have than through a loss or restriction from it. Fasting is a time-honored tool for reconnecting to gratitude and God, and combating all of the obstacles in the swamp. So fasting works toward all of the goals outlined in this book. It can come in the form of a food fast, a financial fast, a fast from entertainment, sex, substances, or even people. In any case, fasting allows the senses to recover by removing stimulation and allowing the natural cycles to create appetite and appreciation again. In what ways have you lost your appetite for things because you've taken them for granted? Fasting works in direct conjunction with the previous habit of finding that little something to bring you back into appreciation by reminding you of life's impermanence. It's part of our nature to assume that things will just continue to be as they are right now, which is completely contradictory to what is actually going on because everything is changing and everything is out of our control. This heuristic only sets the brain up for frustration, complacency, and failure. But with awareness, you can make a different choice and restrain yourself, delay your gratification, and impose restrictions so that you can rediscover the value and appetite for life that you had before taking it for granted. Fasting is not easy and it must be done consciously. Don't go overboard, and remember that it doesn't have to be crazy hard work to yield its benefits. Simply abstaining from something that you take for granted on a daily basis, like a snack that you usually have, can shock your routine enough to build appreciation for it next time. As the old adage reminds us, distance makes the heart grow fonder. Fasting from anything will inevitably create appreciation, just as overindulgence will inevitably create depreciation. Plant the seeds of gratitude by voluntarily restricting yourself, and you will be surprised to find freedom through discipline. Fasting is also one of the timeless ways to reconnect to God, because when we are suffering, it brings us immediately into the present moment and immediately into a humble, surrendering state of mind. I don't believe fasting is necessary for a walk with God, because if you make it necessary, then you've entered the territory of religion. But it can be a useful tool if done with the right intentions. So don't try to be a John the Baptist or Moses or Elijah. Just take it one day at a time and see how you do. God is not going to be impressed by anything you do. That's for certain. Some people naturally have an easy time fasting, and they can go for a week or more without eating. Others can barely go for a few hours, so it's a different game for everyone. Daily gratitude practice. For this habit, I will encourage one of the following for your daily gratitude practice. Try intermittent fasting at least a few days of the week. Again, be mindful of your limits and always do your research. Journal about your experience in your gratitude journal. If you need support in this area, use the website resources mentioned previously. Apply the principles of intermittent fasting to your technology use or social media use. Only use it during the allotted time window that you've set for yourself. Journal about your experience in your gratitude journal. For 1 week, do not spend any money on anything unless it's a mandatory bill. This is the idea of a financial fast. Journal about your experience in your gratitude journal. Chopping tips. A few tips for fasting. There are many types of intermittent fasts, so always do your research. One book and program in particular I recommend is The Longevity Diet by Dr. Walter Longo. The program is backed by a considerable amount of research, and it's a great way to connect to these principles a few times per year while also renewing your health. Remember though, the power of fasting is not necessarily in how potent it is, but more in its ability to break your routine. Predictability leads to assumptions, which lead to taking things for granted. Fasting, the willful break of that predictability, creates a space, and that's enough to act as a seed for appreciation. Remember that you're not trying to lose weight, but rather to lose entitlement. Any weight lost is just a secondary perk. In time management practices, there is a concept called batching, which strategically clumps together tasks that are similar so they can be managed more effectively. For example, you check and respond to email only during a certain hour of the day. The other side of this is exactly what a technological fast does for your life. By abstaining from a particular form of technology throughout the day, you can let your nervous system relax a bit and also become more productive. Technology is a very powerful thing and so interwoven with life these days that it's very difficult to fast from it entirely. But a conscious and directed approach to its restriction can yield powerful results in both your sense of appreciation as well as your level of productivity. Be realistic, be disciplined, and be consistent. I originally learned about the idea of a fiscal fast from an interesting little book I read in college called The Ultimate Cheapskate's Roadmap to True Riches, a practical and fun guide to enjoying life more by spending less, by Jeff Yeager. My initial reason for picking up the book was, well, because I didn't have much. But today I look back on these experiences and see their value in shaping my sense of gratitude and appreciation. I remember, for example, trying not to spend any money for a week and forcing myself to eat all of the food that I had in the house before buying any more. At first it was difficult, but it soon turned into a fun game of solving the problem of what I would eat by being creative with what I had left. The practice is very enlightening, and I recommend trying it several times throughout the year for shorter periods than a week and with a targeted approach. For example, you can abstain from eating out on Fridays if that's something that you're used to. This not only gave me a newfound sense of appreciation for what I had, but I saved a little money in the process and also realized areas of my life where I had been wasteful or negligent. I highly recommend both the book and the idea of a fiscal fast as great tools in your own daily gratitude practice.